Is there such thing as an appropriate loss? Like, if NC State were going to lose, that feels like the way it should have happened. The problem that haunted that team, the problem that haunted NC State all year, never more apparent than it was last night in Tallahassee. Right? It's certain things. You go through a season every week. You're trying to fix it. You're trying new solutions. You're trying, you're having the meetings at the whiteboard with the entire staff saying, all right, who's got an idea? And then suddenly there's 3 games left and it's never been solved. How long have I been talking about NC State's rotation?
All season?
All season.
Actually, before the season?
That's actually true. We've been talking about it because it's inconsistent. And it's difficult for any college basketball player or actually, heck, any athlete to be successful when day in and day out you don't know what you're going to be asked to do. Right? If you're the guy that brings the ball up the court, or if you're that's the most basic of them. But hey, you're one of the shooters. Right? If the other team packs it in, they try to protect the paint, we're coming to you to shoot the 3. You're one of our shooters. Right? When we have low time on the shot clock and we have a sideline inbounds, we're running a play to get you a shot. You're one of the shooters. Then guess what? You come into a game ready to flamethrow, right? You come into a game ready to launch. But what if it's like 1 out of every 8 games you're going to be one of the shooters? 2 out of those 8 games, you're going to be on the bench for most of the game. 3 out of those 8 games, we're going to ask you to be a defensive stopper that doesn't see the ball on offense. There'll be 1 random game where you're going to be playing with 3 centers on the court. There'll be another random game where it's going to be 5 guards. Good luck catching a rhythm. And you may be listening saying, wait a second, that's no team has ever done that. That's definitely not what NC State has done. It's not wholly inaccurate. Mo Diarra played great last night. I've been a big fan of Mo Diarra all season. Mo Diarra had the 2nd most minutes last night. Where did that even come from? 34 minutes last night for a big portion of the season. That would have been 3 games worth of minutes for Mo Diarra. Jaden Taylor was the best scorer on the court for NC State last night. He scored 24 points. He played just 23 minutes. Right, the benefit of having this very fluid minutes kind of rotation, right, where DJ Burns one night can have 27 minutes, the next he could have 22. Last night he had 12, lowest of the season. Michael O'Connell can go a stretch where he plays 33-plus for 6 games straight. Then he can have below 20 like he had last night. Mo Diarra can have games where he has 10. Last night he has 34 minutes. The benefit of playing like that, and I don't think there are many, right, because it's messing with everyone's rhythm and rotation. But the benefit of that is when somebody's hot, you leave them in the game.
By that hot hand.
Jaden Taylor was hot. He had 24 points in 23 minutes. If someone is averaging more than a point per minute, you better play him 35. DJ Burns played just 12 minutes last night, didn't score at all. Now, at times I've advocated for DJ Burns to be less in the rotation because of his defense, but it's not fair really to anybody to suddenly go 12 minutes. That's not fair to everybody that spent this entire season trying to play alongside him. I was listening to the Pat Bev podcast, Patrick Beverly, and he's been traded mid-season to the Bucks, okay? Patrick Beverly, NBA guard, has played in a whole bunch of different cities, defensive stopper, known for trash talk. He gets traded to the Bucks. Dame Lillard, Giannis's team, right? And that's kind of, that's bringing up a problem that NC State has had to deal with. Guys going in and out of the lineup, guys, like a midseason trade is kind of the simulation of, Cam Woods being eligible in the middle of the year, or MJ Rice coming in and out, right? He was traded in and traded out, metaphorically. Do you know what the conversation that Pat Bev said he had with Dame Lillard? He said he went to Dame and he was like, hey, man, those 40-footers you shoot in crunch time, those 40-footers, those deep threes you want to shoot in the playoffs, shoot them now. He was like, if that's your game, shoot him now. He's like, not because you need to learn how to shoot a 40-footer, because I need to learn how to rebound a 40-footer. I need to learn, where I should be on offense to give you an outlet if you don't. Like, you have to do what you do so I can get used to finding a way to be effective around what you do. And Dame was like, all right, cool. And Pat Bev went into, Kawhi and Paul George when they were on the Clippers. Would shoot 16 shots during the regular season. Then in the postseason, they'd take 26 shots. He's like, all these role players would get mad, and he would be like, no, you don't understand. Like, Kawhi and Paul George need to take 25 shots in the games that matter most, but he would have liked them to be shooting 25 shots in the regular season, because then everybody else would be like, all right, this is how we play. This is how I can be effective when Kawhi's doing the things Kawhi needs to do. NC State spent a large part of their season trying to be effective alongside DJ Burns. How do I make my hay when there's an offensive tackle in the post? Right? How do I make my hay when Michael O'Connell is handling the ball, because he was handling the ball for 34 minutes for a stretch, right? They're getting used to playing alongside him. Then you rip those guys from the rotation, you're going to get a game like last night. They actually shot the ball well. Right,
you score 83 points.
Almost 50% from three. Morcell, who's been down in his shooting this year for stretches, knocked him down. Obviously, Jaden Taylor knocked him down. DJ Horn, not his best shooting night, but 3 of 8 isn't bad from three. But the rotation and the defense did him in, and you can see why, right? Say you are completely used to having to cover in the pick and roll for DJ Burns, who isn't able, just foot speed, to get out there and hedge, or to get out there and protect the rim. So you're doing all these little things to cover up for him. Then all of a sudden you have Diarra, and Diarra's going, guys, stop, stay out there. Right? I'm good here. I'm a better defensive big. And now, even though it inherently should make the other jobs easier, it's just different, and they're not used to it. Now they're doing something they haven't done, for long stretches or for 35 minutes in months. Speaking of that defense, which, like I said, did them in, here's Kevin Keatts after the game.
Understanding the defensive scouting report. No middle drives, paint touch team, not a very good three-point shooting team. We held those guys to 5, which is right around their average, 15 points from there, and only 11 made free throws. We did a poor job of ball screen coverage and also giving up paint touches. When you look at the game, 46 points in the paint. When you score 83 points, you should be able to come out here with a win, and certainly we didn't do a good job. Our defense didn't travel, and that's the tough part about today. Our defense has been pretty good on the road thus far, and tonight we didn't do it.
That's not the first time this year you've heard the post-game story be, we didn't execute the scouting report. It's one thing to get beat by, a hot player or a team catching fire. It's another thing to know what they do best and let them do what they do best, when your scouting report, your game plan was, don't let them do what they do best. Maybe, and by the way, you never know, maybe the coaches didn't communicate the scouting report well. Maybe it wasn't emphasized. Maybe the players didn't execute. By the sound of Kevin Keatts' voice, I think he was yelling at him quite. He was shouting some things, so maybe it was on the players this time.
Like you said, it's not the first time that we've heard that. Even recently, I think it was the Syracuse game.
It was when Bell went nuts from 3.
Yeah.
He had 8 threes in the first half, and then after the game, they're like, well, the scouting report said he's a shooter.
And Keatts even said, I had to re-show him the scouting report at halftime.
And he had 0 points in the second half.
Yeah.
It's not the first time that, yeah, exactly. They're re-going over the scouting report halfway or sometimes 2/3 of the way through a game. Not going to win much. That rotation, that maybe lack of attention to detail, if it's scouting report stuff, you play a team like Florida State, it's going to be very, very tough to win. Better figure all that out by the ACC tournament if you're going to shock the world. Figure it out in a hurry.